This time, I'm going to ask you to fasten your seatbelts.
Welcome back to Views from the East. How y'all doing this evening? This one right here, I feel like a lot of people could relate to this. I've heard a lot of stories. I've had some personal experiences myself. And, you know, it's not until you hear everybody talking about it, it's like, oh shit, you too? Like, oh, you've heard that too? Oh, you've experienced that? So I thought I'd share it with you guys. And obviously, you read the title. Parents wanting to be the children. It doesn't even sound self-explanatory. So I'll dive into what I mean by that. There's multiple things. One of the things that I hear in my circles, especially Caribbean families and things like that, like there's always that huge amount of pressure that's put on the child, your kids, you know, at a very young age to start helping around the house, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. You know, we could do chores, things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start like, hey, you know, it starts small. It's like, hey, you know, pay the cable bill. All right. Hey, pay the light bill. All right. But then it gets a little bit more intense. It's like, hey, I'm gonna need part of the rent. You know, just amongst those things. We'll keep it at the rent thing. So for me, I feel like that's your child or your children, right? And your job as a parent is to protect, nurture, provide, so on and so on. But one of the key things there is provide. So why is it as parents, and I am a parent, but I don't do this, nor will I ever, you know, why do you parents feel it's okay to put such a huge amount of pressure? You know, if you don't pay rent here, then you can't live here. You're grown, you're 18 or older. You got to start paying bills around the house. If you don't do that, you got to find your own place. Because I'm not giving no adult a free space to live. Doesn't make sense to me. One of my favorite words is trash. That's trash. That's horrible. I don't think putting pressure on your kids in this way helps. Now, even if the kid agrees, right? And this has to be under the like crazy circumstances, like you're a good parent, you know, you might be struggling with the bills. Your kids are naturally going to want to help you. So I'm not really talking about you guys, because even with the parents that are in that situation, they still don't ask their kids. They rather go and work 2-3 jobs to provide for their kids. And the kids themselves will see like, yo, mom, dad, working hard. Whether they have both their parents or one or the other. They're like, yo, that person is working hard to provide. I'm older now, I'm 18. I can start to help to chip in. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where it's like, hey, you're 18, you better start doing this or you gotta go. As an adult now, we all know this ain't the 90s, the 80s. Rent isn't cheap anymore. And I say anymore because rent was extremely low. Compared to what it is now, it was really low. And as a parent now raising your kids, and you have your kids and you're moving around wherever you're moving, you know rent is not cheap. So why would you ever think it would be okay to put so much pressure on your child to go out there and be on their own at the age of 18, 19, 20? They're probably getting their first job, which probably isn't even paying them that much. Why do you feel as a parent it's okay to put your child in that position? So obviously the child knows he or she can't do that. So they're like, you know what? I'll help around the house. I don't have a choice because this is what I can afford. You shouldn't be your child's landlord. That's just trash to me. And then it's like, then the child will build resentment against you because it's like, yo, you're supposed to be my mom, my dad. You're supposed to love me unconditionally. Like, what is this if I don't pay you rent? I'm in the streets. And the crazy thing too with you parents, you try to have your cake and eat it too. You have to pay rent if you want to live here. However, you still try to put these rules in place to tell them they can't do certain, you can't have company at my house, you can't do this, you can't, but your child is paying rent, right? Which would technically make them a tenant of yours, right? You're the landlord, I guess, in this case. So how can you, if it was any stranger and you was renting them a room, you was renting them an apartment, you can't tell them who they can and cannot bring in the house. You can't tell them what time to be home. You can't dictate any of that. But with your kids, however, we're going to abuse them, right? We're going to charge you the rent. However, you still got to follow these house rules and do things my way. Trash. Overall trash. Trust me, the kids, they grow up to resent ya. Because at the end of the day, this is the time when they get that first job. This is where you're teaching them the fundamentals of saving. All that, from when kids are growing up, we're supposed to be giving them those fundamentals. Save your money. Put it away. But how? How are they going to save money and put it away when the minute they start getting a little bit of, their first check, which may be minimum wage, they have no experience, or it might be a really low wage and you already, I got dibs on that. You're trying to take a majority of the check to pay your rent, but your job is to provide for that child. I hate when parents put that age. Your child is your child for life. Your child doesn't stop being your child at a specific age. Yes, your child goes from being a teenager to an adult. Yes, but that is still your child. It should be second nature to just want to protect and provide for your child at all times. Age doesn't matter. I'm 33 years old right now. My dad will still see me somewhere in the street and be like, hey, you hungry? You want me to grab you something to eat? Hey, you have groceries at home? You need a little bit of money for your mortgage? You want to pay your light bill? I don't need it. I absolutely don't need it. I'm like, Dad. I'm like, no, I'm good, Pop. But damn, thank you, Dad. You get what I'm saying? I know not everyone is fortunate to have that. The other thing that parents do when I say they want to be the children, we're adults as parents, and we make financial decisions, and sometimes those financial decisions may not be the best ones. We may overwhelm ourselves, maybe it's trying to do the right thing, or but whatever the reason, we've built up debt. We owe money to somebody, credit cards, whatever. It is not your kid's responsibility to pay your bills, your credit card bills, your loans, your whatever. When I hear these stories and I'm like, you guys put so much pressure on your kids, and the way that you guys do it is nasty, it's trash. You guilt trip them. Like, oh, I'm your mother, I'm your father, I raised you, I put a roof over your head, I fed you. I'm sorry. Is that not the job of a parent? And I don't even want to say the word job, because that sounds like, you're being paid to do that. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Your child didn't ask to be born. Now, here's the thing. The children, they will help. Even if you weren't the best parent in the world, they will help. But if they can't help you out a few times, or if they say, hey, like, I can't keep paying your bills for you, I don't have it this time, you don't guilt trip them with that. I fed you, I gave you a place to sleep. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like you guys are Having kids is it's like an investment. Let me give birth to another child. Let me give birth to a child. And that child, I'll feed them. I'll do all of that stuff just so one day in the future, once they start earning their own money, that also becomes a source of income for myself. Like, that's what that looks like. That's what that feels like to your kids. Like you just had them just for this purpose. Like, it's not their jobs to pay your bills. You're the parent. You provide. It is our jobs as parents. My daughter, she's low on her rent. Here, baby. If we raise our children right, they'll know to be responsible with their money and hopefully not be in situations like that. But things happen. As a parent, you have to prepare yourself for that. It's just nasty. It's trash. It's trash. You guys put so much pressure on your kids to be the adult in the house. You gotta come and you gotta pay rent. You gotta pay my bills. If you don't do it, let me guilt trip the hell out of you. You're a bad kid because you don't help your mom. You're a bad kid because you don't help your dad. Now, if you were a great parent and you fall on hard times and your kid happens to be in a great place in their life or they're doing very well, you're not going to even need to ask them that. But if you are that good parent, you're not going to even think to ask your kids that. I got to figure this out. But if you're a good parent, your kids are going to see you in trouble. They're going to want to come and help automatically. But there's situations, I have so many friends, so many things that I've seen from parents. It's like you treat your kids like crap, scum. Like you do the most craziest things, right? And we don't need to dive into why that happens. But it'd be the ones that don't even deserve it. That'll feel like that feels so entitled. You get what I'm saying? Like, yo, you threw your daughter out when she was 15. She's now a nurse making over $100,000 a year. You struggling. She's having a good life. And you calling her, asking her for help, asking her to do for you. True story. Now, she helps her mom regardless because that's her mom. Right? But part of that is the guilt that's put on her. Like, yo, I'm your mom. You really gonna let me suffer? You really gonna let me go through all of this? Why were you not asking yourself this question when you were throwing out your 15-year-old daughter to the streets? Where was those questions? I get it. Kids make mistakes. Kids do dumb things, but that's your kid. Like, where was that the bright idea? Her daughter resented her forever. Still to this day, but because you're my mom, I can't watch you suffer. And as that continued, it was like the mom started feeling more entitled. Like, yo, you have to do this. She's like, whoa. No, I don't. And then here you go. Oh, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even be here. Trash. Listen, parents, the new parents, I don't know. I'm 33 years old. I consider myself a new generation of parents. Whoever's part of my generation, the ones that's younger than me coming up, listen, man. It's not your kids' jobs to take care of you. That happens when you're like 65, 70, and even then you should do enough yourself to take care of yourself. Put money away so that if whatever financial needs you need at those ages, it's there. 401ks, whatever you got to do, money in the mattress. But you should not be putting pressure on your kids to pay bills, big bills. You shouldn't be putting pressure on your kids to do any of that. We shouldn't be throwing our kids out because they're 18 years old. I don't get that. I mean, I don't think there's even any more, but like, I was just having a conversation with somebody and it hit home, and I was just like, let me come down here and talk to y'all, get y'all thoughts. Like, let me know what y'all agree with that, or y'all on the same page with me, because I don't get it. I get it's one thing to teach your kids responsibility, but if you don't do it, you got to go to the streets. And then we wonder why we're always struggling. There's no support system. Like, we wonder why any kid that is succeeding in life, that is somewhere in life that's good, that's on the right path, look at the support system behind that. It's not always the parents are rich or they have great jobs. It could be that mom working 3-4 jobs, that dad working 3-4 jobs to make sure their kid is good no matter what. Don't worry about mom and dad. You do your thing. I got your back. Kids, we see that. We see that growing up, and we like, yo, this person right here. But when you're not that kind of parent, and y'all know who y'all are, and y'all know what y'all do, y'all don't deserve that. Y'all know y'all don't deserve it. For the example that I gave with my homegirl, her mom should feel lucky that your daughter still talks to you, let alone helps pay your bills. But the one time she says no, or she can't do it, or she has other things going on, your daughter, oh, my daughter ain't nothing. She's trash. She don't help me out. She lets me struggle. Really? Like I said, man, I know there's others out there that's going through it too. So, I figured I'd come here and just chop it up with you guys. But I'm going to wrap this up. You guys, leave me comments below. Please hit that like, that subscribe. It really, really helps with the algorithm. I appreciate the support. And we'll continue to bring you guys content every week. Peace.